Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. I've been bringing to you so many interviews and we got so many more. Today, we are chatting with none other than Taylor Rising. Welcome,
Hey.
Taylor.
Thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to see you.
I know, I'm so excited because, I've been watching your stuff. I've been seeing what you're doing, and I really just feel like you are on the precipice of something very exciting in your career. So I wanted to bring you
Thank
on, have the people get to know you, and also let you know that, man, you're doing it, you're hustling, you're killing it. Let's go ahead and get started. First and foremost, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Just starting my day at the gym as I usually do. And then the busyness continues, just like your day. Busy day, always something, always something else.
Always something, right? But
Yeah.
it's kind of fun though, I feel. And I'm curious about that. Like, do you currently do pro wrestling full time? Or are you still like, or do you have other things that you're doing on the side? Like, what's your schedule look like?
Um, I do pro wrestling, obviously, for sure, is wanting to be my main gig. I do have a job. Um, I do hustle. I go to the gym a lot in most of my free time. But obviously, wrestling is my main goal. That's what I want to be doing as my main gig. So we're just going to keep hustling until that happens.
Trust me, it'll eventually happen. Like, cause I know what it's like. I remember like the same thing for me when I wasn't a full-time host. I'm out there working all these jobs, and it's the thing that fuels you though, because when you're doing, your shoot job, when you're doing all these things, it's like it fuels you to keep going and keep pushing in that dream that you're doing right now.
100%. And I also feel like it kind of humbles you as in like, because obviously I feel like having a job, like for example, like I work at Costco, and I think it kind of humbles me as in it's like a real people job. You still have to work with the public, you have to follow rules, have a boss, whatever. Whereas wrestling, yes, you still have a boss and have all those things, but it's different. I don't know if you're not like a regular person when you're out doing that. So I feel like you kind of need the one in order to appreciate the other because I
Yes.
know how much I want to wrestle when I'm at my job.
It's like these highs and lows, right? Like
Yeah.
one minute you're experiencing this high of, oh my God, I'm coming out to my entrance. I'm a wrestler. I'm in there. I'm busting my butt. I'm doing it. The people are reacting to me. And then afterwards, it's like come Monday morning, you're back in your regular job, right? And it is like, it's such a shift, girl. I've been there. I know what that's like. And I
Yeah.
remember one day I was working and the next day I was like selling hot dogs. Like, what? How are
Yeah.
the two, like, it's so different, but I think that is the thing that keeps you motivated. So with that being said, let's get into how this whole journey started for you, Taylor. Like, at what point in your life, what was your fandom like? When did you make this decision to pursue pro wrestling?
Well, I was always going to super kick shows. That's where I started training. That's where the school I go to. I was always going to shows, and I'm like, I've always been an active person. I did karate when I was younger. I got my first degree black belt. I did cheerleading. I did soccer. I've always been active. Always loved sports. And then I started going to wrestling shows, again, mainly super kicks. And I'm like, I feel like I can do this. Like, this makes me so excited just to watch. And then I started, went to some classes, and picked up on it for sure. And it's just something I fell in love with ever since. And that was 4 years ago. I
So
wish
since
I started earlier, obviously, but
Right, of course.
yeah.
But, that being said, like 4 years though, a lot can happen in 4 years. Like, how do
That's
you feel you were at, like, in the beginning and where you're at now? Like, talk about some of that growth that you might have seen in the last 4 years in your own personal career.
Yeah, well, for sure, physical growth, but mental growth, 1000%. I've always have been part of, like, I've always had discipline in my life, but this is a different kind. In this case, that wrestling owes you nothing. You can put in all this work and think that this is going to happen or something's going to happen with expectations. Um, and it doesn't. It just makes you keep working for harder for something. Um, but it's I don't know. Tell me your question again, because I'm getting lost in the
It's just
whole.
like talking about your journey. It's okay because I feel like whatever comes to your mind is
Yeah,
it's what your journey is, right? The last four
yeah.
years, like just like the overall summary of how you were when you first started and to where you are now. Like, and just to be more specific, I guess you can say like every year. of, your career, you see something be added, you see something more happen. You're going around, clearly you're doing the indies, you're doing all of that. So for you, like these last 4 years, just overall summary of what that's been like.
I've been definitely grateful with the opportunities that I've had being on Impact and AEW. Not necessarily even right place, right time. You obviously have to have the talent and put in the work and be noticed. But the 4 years has been definitely life-changing with wrestling being more introduced to my life and just trying to keep at it, working as hard as I can for a goal that I never knew that I wanted. But now that it's in the air, just keep thriving and just keep pushing until I get it.
Exactly, that's the way it is. And I know you've gotten to do some really cool things with AEW. One of them is have that match with Athena. Talk to us about what you've been able to do with AEW.
What the things I was able to do with AEW. Well, before Athena, I was on it and I did a tag match against Emmy and Serena. So that was my first experience on there, which was awesome. They're both very nice girls. The locker room's very nice. So then I was very grateful to come back with Athena, and she had that whole gimmick of like being aggressive, like you've seen her wrestle.
Yeah.
She has the whole like, I'm gonna kill you. But it was awesome. It was really cool working with her. It's really awesome how like nice everybody was there. And just having her letting me contribute to the match, not just be like, hey, this is this. It's like she respects me as a wrestler, respects me as a person, and let me have the match that we did, because that was really cool that she let me do all of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like usually in those positions, like in those types of matches, you go in, you like maybe get like one move in, and then all of a sudden the person that's the signed person just like bam takes you out. But you were able to get a couple of you were able to get some action in there, and so I feel like that was kind of cool to see that. So that's really awesome. And I guess I want to go ahead and touch too. You mentioned earlier that you were a part of all of these different sports, right? And then it was pro wrestling that you decided to sign on to. And I'm always curious because I know that you mentioned that you saw it and you're like, oh, I can do it, right? But
Yes.
once you actually started, though, what was your first day like in wrestling school? And what was the thing that you feel you learned easiest? And what was the hardest thing for you in wrestling school?
So again, I trained at Super Kicked, awesome school. I love everybody there. The trainer's awesome. First day, everyone was very welcoming. The experience was good. Obviously, it was an eye opener of what things actually entail. It's not just the things you perform. It's the memory, the facial expression, the emotion, the everything, the fight, the comeback in it. So first day off the bat, I was very excited. And then I think the challenging part for me, there's times where like I think I took it too seriously, whereas now I'm thinking too hard, and now not that it's not fun, but I'm being frustrated. So just remember that, like, which I never forget, but like it's fun. It's supposed to be entertainment, enjoyable. Like, don't take anything in life for that matter too seriously, and just feel what the emotion that you're feeling in the ring, and just do what you feel, do what's next.
Was the part that you were thinking about too much? Was it the in-ring technical aspect of it, or was it more the performance part of it?
Maybe at first it was more the performance part, but then once you get it, you just like the emotion in your face just comes naturally, and like you feel the crowd around you, so like that comes naturally. But at first, for sure, it's just not, I wouldn't say even challenging, just different, needing to get used to it, because you see it from a fan and you feel it from in the ring, and it's two very different things. So that
Yeah.
definitely was a transition. And also I think I'm a natural baby face. So when it comes to the times where maybe I have to be more mean or whatever, I think those times, and maybe even till now, are things that I can work on.
I was going to say that's interesting because usually I always hear, and it also seems to be easier to be a heel than to be a baby face. So many people say the hardest thing to do is get over as a baby face, right? And you're like, I'm a natural baby face.
Yeah, I guess I'm not naturally mean or whatever, but at the same time, since you never really get to be mean or do things like that to people, It's fun to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, and I'm curious too because and I don't know if this was something that you planned, but behind the name Taylor Rising, uh what was the story behind the name for that?
Um, well, I'd help with my name, but it's a spin-off of Triple H. Uh,
Okay, I was gonna ask you flat out, but I wasn't sure if you were going with what Triple H did with the Terror Rising. So I'm like,
correct.
I'm gonna make sure and ask her.
Yeah, correct. Well, I wear the purple that he used to wear at that time, and I do his pedigree. So I'm like, hey, he went from being a worker and now he is the owner's son-in-law. So obviously he must have done a thing right or two. So maybe take a few tricks from his book and follow a little bit in his footsteps. Maybe we'll see what happens.
Is he your favorite, like your all-time favorite?
He's definitely one of them. I love Triple H. I love Rey Mysterio, the Lucha. I love the all. I love it all. I love Leo Shirai. I like a mixture of people. I don't like have just one. I take bits and pieces of each style, I feel like, and kind of make it my own.
Okay, I'm so glad I asked you that because I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is what this is based off, but I'm like,
Yes.
I don't want to flat out just say it because what if it's not? And
No,
I'm
and I love when people get it. I'm like, oh, thank you so
yeah,
much. This
exactly.
makes me
I was
happy.
afraid that you were gonna be like, well, I'm rising. I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, I want to make sure I ask her without
Yes,
expecting this as the answer, right? But I
sure.
think that's really clever because it is one of like the first things that you think of when you hear the
Right?
name Taylor Rising. All of a sudden, you're like, wait a minute, hold the
And I'm
phone
trying
there
to
just
think
for a
of
second.
something. Yeah, exactly. And I'm trying to think of something my entrance isn't because you know how he came out with yeah, boo, and then like spit out all the water and just look sick. I'm trying to do that in a different way. We're coming up with something.
Yes. Okay, but yeah, you like have fun with it, right? Like come up with all
Yeah.
of these different ideas and do cool things. And when you think of like most or some of the most iconic entrances, like the Triple H spitting the water is definitely up there, you know? It's
Yeah, the
very
king
cool.
himself.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say I don't know if you can see, but I actually got the King of Kings
Oh,
mask
I
right
see.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always loved it. Like his
That's
entrances
so
for
cool.
WrestleMania, I'm such a fan, man. I love it all.
Okay.
Okay, so I do want to go ahead and get into. I'm curious about your first match. Talk to us about what it was like. Do you still remember your first match? Did it
Yeah.
go well? Did it not? What was that?
So my first match, like on a show, was like 3 or 4 months into my training. My trainer's like, "You're ready. Go do this." And again, I don't mean to keep saying the world humble, but like nerves are one thing, but when you go out there, it's just a completely different experience. Especially it's your first time, bunch of people watching you, you're memorizing whatever. Um, it definitely showed me the work that it takes to do that. Not that I didn't already know, but it definitely put like stabilized me like this is what it needs to be done. The match wasn't bad, but obviously if I did the match today, it would be a lot better than it was. We got through a beginning to end, and it was good. But it just made me realize the work that I need to put in to get where I am today and to continue to grow.
Yeah, yeah,
To
that's
say
how
the
it is,
least.
right? If your first match doesn't suck or you don't learn something from your first match, like, you could only go up from there, right? Clearly, which we've
Yeah.
seen your stuff, so that's been great. I
Thanks.
also saw that you were at Elimination Chamber in February. Tell us about that.
That was a really cool experience that I got invited to. Wasn't I didn't get to be part of the show, but that's okay. What's like I was the fact that I was even there, able to market, able to see everything, how everything works. It was just a really cool experience to be part of. Um, Hopefully one day I get to maybe be part of the pay-per-view.
Yeah, have you had any opportunities yet or any conversations to like go to the performance center to, maybe do anything there? Has that happened for you?
I did get invited back to come to the Toronto SmackDown. So we'll see what happens there. You just got to keep sending your stuff in. Being Canadian, I don't know if that's an excuse, but I think it's just less common or less whatever compared to somebody in the States, the UK, where their other and like their other NXT used to be. But it just got to keep sending your stuff in. I guess.
Yeah, no, keep doing it, man. Like you always see like these stories of like suddenly like one person's working the Indies and all of a sudden they are on, they're at the performance center. Next thing you know, they're on NXT and then
Yeah.
all of these things start to happen. And I know right now, they're doing their hiring freeze and all, but I feel like once the ball gets rolling once again, it is very, hope to see some familiar
Yeah.
faces join up. For you, like who are some of the women that like you're like really digging right now that you're a fan of? In any promotion that you're just like, man, she's killing it. I want to do something like that.
Well, since I'll start off with NXT just because we just brought it up. Their champion Tiffany, she's obviously very talented. But she just kept sending her stuff, and she didn't give up. She kept doing it until they finally saw her. And she's a gorgeous, talented person. So that just goes to show you how hard it is. You have to work to get in there. But she's an absolute athlete. I enjoy watching her. I wish I know they keep giving Liv more and more pushes, but I think she's so adorable, and I wish they just kept pushing her. Her and Raquel are so cute. Ronda leaving is wild. I liked Blazer more than Ronda, not gonna lie. I'm sorry. And to be honest, I don't know if this is like a bad thing to say, but I do miss she goes by Mercedes Monet. I do miss her a lot. I'm not gonna lie. She brought a lot, I think, to the women's division. And her and Charlotte had amazing matches.
Oh, girl, I agree. I miss her too. Like I miss her too. And obviously right now she's out due to injury, but when she comes back, like whatever she does moving forward, I think everybody kind of misses her in that way. For sure. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Honestly, though, hearing like all of the names that you mentioned, it is, you mentioned all really good ones. And it was funny too, because when you mentioned Tiffany, I was like, man, I could see them as a tag team. I feel like right now, because you're wearing the pink, you got the blonde hair, I'm like, I can see it, I can see the aesthetic happening here. So yeah. Okay, so I got 2 more questions for you. The first one is obviously going to be about the NWA, because you are going to be on the 75th anniversary show. And that is happening August 26th and 27th. You are part of the Burke Invitational Gauntlet for the NWA World Women's Championship. You're in there with a whole lot of women, including Allison Kay, CJ, Heather Monroe, MJ Jenkins, Ruthie J, Samantha Starr, Sierra, The Woad, and some additional participants, I believe. So talk to us about what your experience has been like thus far with the NWA and, just overall what we can expect from this match or your expectations of it.
Well, first things first, I'm very grateful that they are having me part of it. So thank you so much if they're listening. I'm going in with, I don't want to say I'm going in with no expectations, but I'm just going in with an open mind, excited that I'm there and ready to listen to what all these wrestlers have, because they probably have a lot more experience than I do when it comes to the amount of years that they've been wrestling. So I'm just ready to learn. I'm ready to meet new people, and just take everything that comes my way and see what happens. I'm not going to be like, you can't be like, expecting A, B, and C when you haven't even stepped a foot around.
Right. So wait, is this your first match with the NWA, or have you wrestled with them before?
No, this will be my first match with NWA.
Oh, okay. Oh my God, that's very exciting. How did the opportunity come about?
I wrestled Natalia at a promotion in Michigan, and she's a very nice girl. We had a really good match, and I think she just wanted to help me as a Canadian wrestler. Like I said, it's a little bit harder. So I think she saw the opportunity and wanted to help out, and bless her soul. I would like to say that she helped a little bit for them to get to either know who I am or just made the suggestion. And that's how I got it.
I love that story. I'll tell you, I love that story because it's like right away. I was expecting you to be like, oh, I got in contact with some guy and this led to this. But the fact that you said like Natalia Markova was the one that, got you in. I like that because it's like another woman helping another woman because she's been in that situation before or whatever the situation is where it's like, you know what? I'm going to go put out a word for this girl to get an opportunity. And I like that. You know, honestly, I really like that. That's really awesome. Okay, so my last question for you is before I let you go, clearly, you know, you're just starting out a lot in your career, doing a lot of cool things. You're 4 years in, so much can happen. For you, ideally, what's the goal? What's the thing that keeps you motivated going, this is what I want to happen in my life?
What keeps me motivated? I guess obviously having a future goal, wanting to go all the way, but still just taking things day by day, being appreciative of whatever comes my way, but still hustling and working on myself. That never stops when it comes to the gym, when it comes to training in the ring. My mental and physical health are definitely number one when it comes to it. And then I think everything just falls in place when you're not too focused on one thing, if that makes sense.
Right. And the goals that you would like to accomplish?
Well, let's take it step by step. Getting to NWA will be a first goal because I haven't gotten there yet. We're just doing the build up. I would love to work for every promotion when it comes to maybe going to Japan or maybe even making my way to WW. That would obviously be a dream come true. Again, like, yes, there's goals and things I want to do, but I don't, not that I'm going to want to ever set myself up for failure because that's not the case, but I'm humble and like just taking things as they come, and it's been working out for me so far.
Yes, exactly. Like it has been working out for you so far. So I'm really excited for you, Taylor. And I'm so excited to see you make your debut in the NWA and you're part of this match with all of these women. So congratulations ahead of time on that. And I hope to continue seeing you grow and hopefully come back and I see you in, you know, in other places and see you continue to grow. Before we head out of here, please let the people know where they can follow you, where they can support you and watch your journey.
Oh, thank you so much. So obviously Stand Up Taylor Rising. You can follow me on Twitter, Taylor Rising, Instagram, Taylor Rising. And if you're ever in the GTA in Toronto, Superkicked is definitely a home show that always rocks. And I will be at everyone.
Awesome. Well, keep hustling, Taylor. I'm going to go ahead and post those links in the description box below so you guys can give Taylor some love. And other than that, I'm Denise Salcedo. This is Taylor Rising, and we'll catch you on the next episode. Bye, everyone.